Hey, the internet, y'all got us all the way up. We met that dude, Duke the Jeweler, the night before. We was gambling. The next day, dude followed us to the concert. When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot. That's when somebody tried to kill.
He's the one that's tied to the dude that makes the loaded dice. Right? Check the play out. All entertainers, when you go to Houston, stay away from J. Prince Jr. The whole play going on. Here go the play right here. The play is a loaded dice.
Is that a jeweler named Duke recently got killed, and the story's really messed up. So I want you to talk about what happened.
Bloodstained dice slid across the velvet table. Smiles filled the room, but only one man would walk away. Duke the Jeweler didn't pass away broke, he died in the presence of predators. Now, Mob TIs is under serious scrutiny, and federal authorities are paying close attention. This wasn't just a robbery, it was an execution. And not by random masked men in a back alley. Duke lost his life shortly after leaving Boosie's dice game, surrounded by people who shook his hand one moment, only to possibly signal betrayal the next. Those same individuals are now facing pressure from the feds. And 50 Cent is stirring, the pot amplifying the rumors, sharing the evidence, and pointing toward a setup much more calculated than anyone initially believed. What makes all of this even more chilling is the timing. Just 2 weeks before Takeoff was tragically killed under almost identical dice game conditions, Duke was reportedly shutting down the table at a Prince JRB event. And when the wrong person starts winning, that's when the balance starts to tip. Now, the entire Mob TI circle is being closely monitored. Boosie, Prince JRB, Lil Cam, all of them. What started as subtle rumors is quickly evolving into federal investigations. But how did it escalate? To this point, let's take a step back. What appeared to be a casual dice game might have been a premeditated setup from the very beginning. From the outside, Duke the Jeweler was a man living out his dream, a proud Chicago native, self-made and respected. He wasn't just selling flashy chains to up-and-coming rappers, he was designing exclusive pieces for well-known clients and solidifying his name in the jewelry game. He didn't travel to Houston for fun, he came to secure business. It's alleged that Boosie personally invited him to discuss a custom order. So, Duke packed up $1 million Louis Vuitton duffel with his finest pieces and made the trip. What he likely didn't anticipate was that this meeting would end up being his last. Now, let's look more closely at the dice game. According to leaked audio from WAC 100, a source directly connected to the streets, this wasn't just about gambling. It was reportedly a controlled setup. Prince JRB is said to be behind what some are calling a loaded dice ring. And here's the pattern. The same three individuals always seem to be at the center of the action. Lil Cam, Big Capri, and Wolf. They take turns handling the dice in a way that appears more like a routine than a game. In setups like this, the house always comes out on top unless someone disrupts their flow. According to WAC, Duke ended up beating odds he was never meant to beat. The dice were allegedly loaded, yet somehow he kept winning. First hundreds, then thousands, quickly escalating into tens of thousands. And what typically happens when someone disrupts a rigged setup? The ones benefiting from it start to panic. Let's break it down. Sources claim Prince JRB allegedly takes a 30% cut from every dice night earnings. So when Duke started walking away with major money, it wasn't just good fortune, it became a financial threat. On top of that, Duke wasn't exactly low-key. He had an assertive, flashy presence covered in diamonds, throwing out money like party favors and filming every moment for Instagram. Now here's where things begin to feel off. If you pause the video from the dice game, Boosie can be seen giving a subtle whistle, not aggressive, but noticeable. His nephew immediately turns and locks eyes with Duke. Then, a man in a red hoodie taps the nephew, almost like a signal. Suddenly, the entire energy shifts. Duke goes from laughing and rolling dice to something that felt like a ticking clock, and within minutes, he's gone. This wasn't imagined tension. It was written all over everyone's body language. Because when someone walks into a room full of people who already know how the night will end, you can sense it. And if you're looking for more signs that this wasn't just a regular dice game, ask yourself, why would someone like Boosie bring a guest dripping in over $1 million worth of jewelry into an environment full of people he doesn't fully trust and not ensure he had security? Why didn't J Prince JRB offer any protection for a high-profile guest from out of town, especially one clearly wearing that level of value? Let's rewind. When Duke left that dice game, he was completely alone, no security, no team, not even a driver, just him walking through a dark Houston parking lot after hours surrounded by wealth. That alone raises red flags. And then things escalated. Within minutes, gunshots. Duke was ambushed and fatally shot. Typically, in a robbery gone wrong, cash and jewelry are the first to disappear. But in Duke's case, nothing was taken. He was still wearing everything. So what kind of robbery leaves behind seven-figure jewelry? The very same pieces he wore at Boosie's concert before the tragedy.
Worked through hard time but never gave up. I stayed tough, even when I got my chain stuck. Go through hard time, but we know that what made us. Can't blame us, we love the script, cause that what paid us. Yeah, ain't gotta ask, I know them niggas laid up. I call King like get the patch that going where I'm up. I can't even find, you know how many nights I done stayed up.
Here's the part that really raises eyebrows. The Louis Vuitton bag Duke had with him, the one said to be carrying his unreleased custom jewelry designs, didn't just disappear. It ended up at Boosie's house. Let that sink in. This wasn't speculation. Houston PD confirmed it. Whether Duke gave Boosie the bag for safekeeping during the game or Boosie got it another way, we don't know. But what's undeniable is that the bag returned to Boosie. Duke did not. Boosie's response? A nervous Instagram live recorded from a plane where he downplayed their relationship and claimed Duke simply walked off.
He was walking to his car or something, and some dude tried to rob him. Some dudes tried to rob him. See, some dudes had tried to rob me and walked off by himself, but I had just met dude yesterday. They try to rob dude, man. Dude must ain't get up.
Folks from Flight Jack, we're number 2 for departure. Flight attendants, please bear the captain.
Just met dude.
But hold on, didn't Boosie previously say Duke was supposed to design a custom chain for him? How does that fit with him barely knowing the guy? You invited him to a private dice game, let him flex $1 million in jewelry, and then allowed him to walk out alone? Something about that story doesn't add up. Then Boosie continued.
We was in a garage. He must have walked outside to the parking lot. We was in the garage. We heard this, but it like they was far away in the parking lot. He must have went to his car or something. Dude was finna make a piece of it too. Damn.
Let's be honest, he didn't appear like someone with nothing to hide. He looked pale and uneasy. And if you thought that was troubling, it gets even more serious. Federal agents, who were already keeping tabs on Boosie for unrelated legal matters, decided to treat Duke's case as a separate federal investigation. That means no merging it with previous charges, just a focused inquiry into what happened to Duke. Their first move? Tracing Duke's phone. The last ping from his phone was at Boosie's recording studio. Unless Duke's phone magically walked there alone, someone in Boosie's circle must have brought it there. And they didn't even try to cover their tracks. No attempt to wipe it, destroy it, just turned off manually after that last ping. That's what raised alarms with the feds. Next, they examined Duke's rental car. Forensics picked up fingerprints belonging to Boosie's nephew and his cousin. And just when it seemed the situation couldn't get any darker, a witness came forward. They were outside the building smoking and claimed they saw Duke walking alone toward his vehicle. Everything seemed calm until Boosie's nephew appeared from the shadows like he'd been waiting. Sensing something wasn't right, Duke allegedly tried to defend himself and swung first, but he never stood a real chance. In one swift move, Boosie's nephew reportedly pulled the trigger. No one attempted to stage a robbery because it wasn't about theft. It was about silencing, and instead of covering their tracks, they kept Duke's bag. That's not carelessness, that's boldness. And someone else who caught wind of all this, 50 Cent. Have you ever noticed how artists are always warned when heading to Houston? The unspoken rule is clear, check in. It's not official, it's not in writing, but it's widely known. Whether you're an artist, influencer, or athlete, the word is that if you move through Houston without alerting J Prince JRB and the Mob TI's crew, you're risking it. But here's the uncomfortable truth. What happens when the ones you're supposed to check in with are actually the ones setting you up? Let's not forget J Prince JRB hosted the very dice game Duke attended, the same kind of event where Takeoff lost his life. After Duke's death, that so-called check-in culture shifted from a form of protection to a source of suspicion. Because if J Prince JRB really controlled the city the way he says he does, how did two men end up dead under his watch? Even Whack 100 couldn't ignore it.
Entertainer invites him in, act like he's covering for him, hanging out, everything is cool. Let's go here, let's go there, let's go here, let's go there. He introduces the dice game. He got three right, who rotate the dice. Now these dice is loaded. Tell me it's a Wolf, Big Caprice, and watch this, and Little Cam are the loaded dice rotators, right? He said what? There was a situation that occurred that a certain jeweler frowned and got past the dice on accident and was hitting on them for a couple hundred. They got irritated about that. I ain't gonna go too far into that story because, right, boom. The only way they could get their money back was however money back. He said, but Lil Cam, Wolf, and Big Caprice are the three designated to say I'm up, I got the next, and they pass the dice to each other, but they loaded, but they shoot.
Whack 100 called the whole thing a scam operation. He claimed that J Prince JRB invites high-profile entertainers, pretends to be a friend, earns their trust, and then leads them into dice games where his people surround them. It's all part of a play to get them comfortable and vulnerable.
It was a jeweler. I gotta do my research, see what jeweler might have been down there shooting dice. But nevertheless, to all the entertainers, you know, Dukes of Hazzard was one of my favorite shows, right? I don't know if y'all watched it. I was thinking about Daisy Dukes for a reason. I don't know why I said that. You know, one might go with it, may not go with it, but I don't know. If the math is math, and let it math. But entertainers, beware of with J Prince Jr. when he talking about let's go shoot some dice. Because the loaded dice crew of three, Lil Cam, Wolf, and Big Caprice. We know Lil Cam in there because I believe somehow, some way, he was caught up in the dice situation. Rest in peace, Takeoff. I don't know what's going on. But what I do know is this. J Prince Jr. got a whole thing that when y'all come into town, hold on, bro. Didn't they say Fifth Ward earlier that day shooting dice?
Yep. That's a fact. That word been out, Whack. That word been out. We been got that memo.
And then, so I've been getting hit all day, and it got to the point that the thing, Quavo like, getting into dice. That's what this nigga J Prince Jr., boy, these niggas got all kind of shit going on down there. They say, he said the jeweler nigga got past the dice. He didn't even know the motherfuckers was loaded. He just think he hit. These niggas is mad as a motherfucker. Cause they like, nigga, how you pass this nigga the loaded dice on us?
Now, Word is spreading that some artists are quietly backing away. Music labels are reportedly canceling or pulling out of Houston-based events. The city's becoming radioactive. Even 50 Cent seems to be speaking out more directly. He's been reposting clips, dropping suggestive captions, and drawing attention to what's going on. Some believe he's stepping into dangerous territory. Others think he's just the only one brave enough to say what everyone else is thinking. Meanwhile, Boosie is said to be feeling the heat. Federal investigators are putting increasing pressure on him. They've decided not to combine Duke's case with his existing gun charges and are now zeroing in on what specifically happened that night. Reports suggest they've started probing his homes, his financial records, even looking into his son's online activity, but the most revealing details may be coming from within his own circle. Allegedly, Boosie's girlfriend confided to someone that he ran back into the house that night looking panicked, as if he was hiding something. Yet publicly, he continues to act as if he has no idea what happened.
We was gambling. You know, every party I throw gambling parties and shit. And, dude was gambling. They trying to make false reps like the dude beat somebody out some money, but the dude actually lost his money, bro. Ain't nobody really winning. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude lost his money, and four dude left. Dude was like, man, I won't make a piece for you. Woo de woo. I'm like, nigga, make me a gold piece. You know what I'm saying?
And yet, this is the same line Boosie keeps repeating to everyone as if sticking to the story will make it stick.
His car was outside the arena under where we was. It was on side the parking lot, so he had to walk to his car. And that's where the incident took place, when somebody, tried to get him or whatever. But Vlad, bro, if anybody know me, bro, that ain't my stilo, bro. You know what I'm saying? That ain't how I get down, bro. Like, that ain't how none of my people get down. And that's just the bottom line. That's shit that we wouldn't do. And, we was fucked up about it because obviously they were watching us. Obviously they were waiting for anybody to walk across that parking lot to them cars and get in them cars. So, it could have been one of us.
Now the big question people are asking is, if Boosie goes down, who's going down with him? Because Boosie never moves alone. His nephew is entangled. His cousin is implicated. And now his name is being closely linked to J. Prince JRB, who's already under intense scrutiny following Takeoff's death. The connections are stacking up, and they're all circling back to the same table, and the situation keeps unraveling. Finesse 2 Times, the same rapper who once had Mob T.I.'s full support, is now speaking out. He went from name-dropping J. Prince JRB in interviews to barely mentioning him at all. The change is obvious. At first, it looked like he simply distanced himself. No more public appearances with Junior, no shows, no behind-the-scenes moments. But soon, the rumors started. Allegedly, the fallout began over a woman, not just any woman, but Finesse's baby mama. A few months back, she and her mother reportedly set him up, called the authorities, and had him arrested for violating probation. And who came to the rescue? None other than J. Prince C. Oster. Behind the curtain, he made a few calls, and within 2 weeks, Finesse was released. But instead of cutting ties with the woman who had him locked up, Finesse went right back to her. That's when J. Prince C. Oster had enough, and he made it loud and clear on Twitter. I told the homie to stay the FK away from that woman if he loves his life. But the homie wouldn't listen to my words, even though I had to step in to get him out of prison. Y'all better be careful out here thinking these women have your best interest at heart. And this is where things take an even uglier turn. Word began spreading that J. Prince JRB may have secretly gotten Finesse's baby mother pregnant. Is there hard proof? No, but the fact that the rumor gained traction and Finesse hasn't denied it says a lot. While some fans dismissed it as typical drama, others started noticing a larger pattern. J. Prince JRB has long-standing issues with Takeoff's family. He's rumored to be at odds with Boosie behind the scenes. And now, Finesse 2 Times appears to be unraveling in public. The question people are now asking is, how many more bridges can Junior burn before his entire foundation crumbles? Because here's the thing, when your power is built on silence, intimidation, and strategic control, it only takes one defector to bring the whole structure down. One artist one friend, one witness, and everything could collapse. So now, the spotlight shifts. Will Boosie be the first to crack? Will Finesse eventually speak out about what really went down? Or will 50 Cent's relentless pursuit of the truth surrounding Mob T.I.'s push J Prince JRB to do the unthinkable, break his own silence to protect himself? Regardless of who talks first, the unraveling has already begun, and whispers are quickly turning into knocks on the door. Federal agents are now discreetly combing through Boosie's full estate holdings, his Baton Rouge mansion, his Georgia properties. They're tracking every transaction, every asset. At this point, Boosie isn't just under investigation, he's under surveillance. And it's not just about him anymore. J Prince JRB is in the crosshairs too. Artists are pulling away. Labels are stepping back. This isn't some rap feud. This is something bigger. It's got Rico vibes written all over it. And with talk that Duke's killer might be caught on camera, all it takes is one leak to TMZ or to the feds. If that footage ever surfaces, it's game over.